Imagine a rough and tumble lumber town, a settlement where riots are not uncommon and street brawls turn into pitched battles. An industrious place, snuggled at the junction of three rivers, miles from the civilization of the times in Montreal, Toronto, and Kingston. This is Bytown. Housing had progressed from the log cabin era. Schools, churches, and libraries were becoming commonplace. And in a small wood frame building on Muddy George Street, a politician named William Harris turned the crank, fed the sheets of paper into the press, and the packet of Bytown was born.
The Citizen was a technological pioneer back in the early 70s. We were the first newspaper in Canada to use computers for writing and editing and typesetting.
This paper came into being before Canada was even a country. You know, so we've covered everything from Sir John A. to Justin Trudeau and everything in between.
I think I did realize that I was writing and living history because it was such an important milestone in the life of a country to create its own constitution.
You know, I was assigned to 10 Olympic Games. I was there when Muhammad Ali lit the Olympic torch in Atlanta in 1996. I was there for Sidney Crosby's golden goal.
A great story surprises the reader. A great story tells them something they didn't know about something that matters to them. A great story has a moral, and a great story is beautifully written. And when you think of combining the skill sets that takes into one person, who we call the reporter, editor, photographer, copy editor, headline writer, it's a hell of a skill set to have. And this newsroom has been blessed with many, many, many who fit that description.
In a way, I've been lucky to see a whole transformation of the business. I've talked to a lot of the old timers about this. We were there for the heyday, right? When newspapers were king, and now we've evolved into something else. And we've seen the whole digital transformation, so that's been kind of interesting.
As reporters, we're sort of on the first take of history. I think that's the cliche. And the Citizen, especially because the reporting has gone on for so long, you know, it has institutional memory of what this has happened in this city, right? You know, from like the giant cake at the 100th anniversary of Confederation in 1967, all the way up to, you know, terrible things like the Westboro bus crash, right? And all of those things in between. You know, a city needs its own newspaper, right? Because it needs its own version of history every day.
When you need something you can count on, when there's a very complicated story that affects a lot of people in a lot of ways, the Citizen throws everything it has at it.
If I wasn't a newspaper reporter, and if I wasn't a newspaper reporter in this city, I don't know what I would do. I think having the beat that I do and working that as intensely as I do and working for the paper has really been one of the kind of foremost defining characteristics of my adult life.
The daily, constant scrutiny and reporting that the paper does, to me, is important in the greater scheme of things. And I think of it as important daily, and it's not something that I take for granted.
Even at a time when there's so many more media available than there were when the Citizen began, when life has changed so distinctly, when online is where many people get their news. I think it's the continuity and continuing voice and painting a picture of the community as it was then and as it is now in a sort of linear form is crucial.
The first thing I think about is the actual name, the nameplate. We are a citizen of the community and we want to be seen that way.
The Citizen has been part of this community now for 175 years and played an important role in just about every aspect of the life of this community.
To think that there would be a city of Ottawa without an Ottawa Citizen is an unfathomable thought. They're hand in hand and an inseparable pair who feed off each other.
That's kind of what the paper does every day. It's like a little dose of comfort, I hope, for our readers. We're not delivering information to people. You know, that's not what a newspaper's about. I think we're in the relationship business. That's what we're doing. We're building a relationship with thousands of people who rely on us every day.
To be recognized for not merely anything that current employees have done, but that, you know, reporters and journalists over decades, and in this case over 175 years, have done. It's nice to get that kind of recognition. It means something.
I think it's a well-earned honor for an institution that really is vital, and that has for generations and generations been essential to democracy and public life in this town.
It also says something about the importance of newspapers that I'm really glad to see recognized, especially in these days, that we're historic, we've served a real purpose, and we continue to.
It's got a reputation for quality, for integrity, for impeccable judgment, and I don't believe anything that I hear until I see it confirmed by the Citizen. Simple as that.
175 years.